Hello, hello, hello. Paint Couture peeps. Nikki from Gracie's house here. I have Instagram on my left. I have Facebook on my right. Drop me a little comment, say hello as you come along, and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fascinating. I can see people have come through on Instagram. Let me just see if we've got anybody joining us on Facebook. Is quiet. That's me. I've got one person watching on Facebook. Okay, it looks like we're all good. Hi guys, how are you? Part 2, Hi Rain on Facebook, and I've got lots of people. I've got Susan and Second Ground Design, and there's loads of people popping up on Instagram. I can't even keep up. Susan is from Holland, lovely. Sheila, happy Friday. I know it's the summer holidays for us here in the UK. I'm Nikki from Gracie's house. I'm your Paint Couture brand ambassador that is from the UK. And we are on part 2. We're working on my beautiful bar. I'm so, like, every time I add something extra to this, I just love it even more. I'm so excited at how this is coming out. So thank you everyone for joining me. This isn't my normal slot. This is a little extra bonus one because I'm going to be away for a few weeks. Painting Contessa from New Hampshire. Hi there. I'm going to be away for a couple of weeks. Well, 3 weeks really in total for the social media side of things. So this was my way of you not losing touch with me. You get an extra one this week, and then when I come back, you'll have 2 weeks where there's going to be 2 each week. So I'm going to have a busy couple of weeks when I get back, I can tell you. Just as a little recap, anyone that hasn't watched yesterday, Erin, my lovely, hello. Anyone that wasn't watching yesterday, I added, these moulds have been added, this whole piece here, this whole section, all of these little extras, those are all added. This was already on my piece. We have a base coat of sea glass. Hi, Revue et Corrige, who knows, 4:30 design, hi. And Laurie, hello. So sea glass is my base colour. So we did a couple of coats of that. Then we did some Lake Norman blue, which is just to create a little bit of framework around our inset panels there. So on these bits that are hinged and fold down, so it's quite a compact little unit. And so yeah, we just framed it out. That was it for the Lake Norman blue. Then we sort of did almost a dry brush over the top of the two of Red Russian and Caribbean Coral. So we did go in to these details, added some to the mouldings, and then just sort of added some extras. I wanted it to look a little bit shabby, a little bit rustic. Oh, of course you're Wilfred in France, of course, you know, I've connected. And then these fold out, so I've just done a second coat on those. Can you see that? Let me flip you around a little bit on Insta. I know you can all see it on Facebook. So here, this is like my test board that I do a little bit of tinkering with before I then come live to make sure I'm happy. What I've chosen to do here, I mentioned yesterday, do we do a glaze? Do we not do a glaze? Sharon, hello. And I've chosen champagne glaze. So, do you know what? I love this. I love it. This gives me shimmer everywhere. Fabulous. And the great thing about the Paint Couture glazes as well is they do have a top coat included. So, you know, as the paint has an amazing built-in top coat, there is top coat included within the glaze as well. So you're getting protection at all stages. And as I said to yesterday, I really love the feel of Paint Couture before you've even added a top coat. And it's so tough. You don't need to. The top coats are amazing, but you don't have to. I love the feel of it without it. So you know, it's great that you don't need to add one if you don't want to. So I went over this whole section with the champagne glaze. You probably can't see it. It has toned it down slightly, ever so slightly. And it's still drying in places. And then I went over with, I've done a little mix of Stardust and French Gold. So it's just given a slightly more goldy tone to the Stardust because that sits at a more champagne-y, almost silver level. beautiful. And as it dries, the glitter and the sparkle that Stardust has comes out. As it dries, it just becomes even more shimmery and sparkly, so it's fab. I'm just going to check on Erin. I can imagine the champagne glaze would look stunning over the white, any of the whites, over candlelight. It's like if you catch it at the right angle, it just gives the whole lot of shimmer. So that's the first thing we're going to do. I'm going to do this, we're going to concentrate on this main panel again. So Instagram, I'm just going to scoot you around so you're back in the centre there. There's no real need to mix the glazes. They're quite thick. You can be as generous or as stingy as you want with the glazes. I'm relatively generous. I've just got a chip brush because I'm just slapping it on. So there's no right or wrong way just to get this on. And it'll probably look a bit scary, whatever colour glaze. Oh, there's a little spider having a little sleep up there. Whatever glaze you use, if you haven't used glaze before, it can feel a little bit scary when you put it on, because you've just painted this beautiful piece, and you know, especially if you're using a brown or one of the black colours, and then you're putting this what looks like paint over the top. And I think it's quite scary. I think it can be. And then, but of course we're not putting it on to leave it there like this. We're putting it on to then wipe it back and leave it in the details. In this case, I'm leaving it across the whole piece, but I'm just leaving it with a very, very sheer cover. I'm going into my my mouldings a little bit. I am going to do this in sections because what I don't want to do is, because of the heat, I don't want it to start drying. You have got a decent open time with the glazes, you don't have to rush too much, but I don't want it to go sticky and then be a problem for me. So it does tone it down slightly, but you know, once this is out in the sun, it's just going to sparkle. And that's really what I wanted to achieve on this. I wanted it to be a bit rustic. It's not a glamorous sparkle, if you know what I mean. It's just a shimmer. It's just lovely. It's just a touch. I'll get that out of those crevices. And as you can see, I'm pretty much wiping it back straight away. If you're going for one of the darker glazes, you can leave it for a bit longer. These glazes can also be used as stains, which you probably wouldn't use the champagne as a stain per se, but the Van Dyke and the honey and the sugar, warm honey, no, warm sugar, brown sugar, oh they could be, I've used them as stains and they're brilliant. They're really, really cool. Got a little bit of my tissue stuck there. Wash that off later. So this is the section I've done there, and I don't know if you can see here where the shimmer's highlighting. You can just see a little bit of shimmer coming here on the screen there. Hopefully, I can bring the cameras in a little bit more once we've done some more, and hopefully you can see that shimmer a bit more. But as you can see, I'm getting it in there. I'm not particularly, you don't have to worry about brush strokes. It's just, you just want to get that on everywhere you want it to go. So what's everybody doing with their Fridays? How many people are in the same boat as me? Because it's the first day of the school holidays today. Eliana, hi. Thanks for joining. So Gracie's pestering me to spend time with her, and unfortunately today has still got to be a work day for me, so that I can take that time off. I'm having to get a lot done to put me in the right position to hit the ground running when I get back. Patina style, you like this? Good. It's really cute, isn't it? And my husband came in and had a quick look at it yesterday and was amazed. Like I said to you guys that were watching yesterday, I was a wee bit nervous because it's not really a man style. He kind of said, oh, why don't we just not paint it? Let's live with it for a while. And we did. We lived with it for maybe a couple of weeks. I don't think I lived with it for much longer than that. And I thought it would make a great project to do with you guys. Now the glaze, like I said, you have got open time properly to dry, to really dry well. This will be left overnight now. Oh, you're watching from Argentina. Brilliant. So what time are you in Argentina? I still get my head around all of the different time zones that we work with and have viewers from. I'm going to get myself a new piece of rag. If there's any questions, ask away. I will try and catch up and answer as I go along. I always do try. It's just looking so shimmery and lovely. Making sure I'm catching any comments as they come along. With the chip brushes, you might need to just check you're not dropping off any bristles as you go along. I just have a little bit there. And we're just going to keep moving along, working along in sections, and then we'll do some metallics. And I might go back in and add some corals once the metallics have settled in as well, just so that we maintain that punchiness of the colours, because that was one of the things that I absolutely adored when we were working on this yesterday, how much the coral really punched out. Just got a little bit of build up there. That's okay. You just have to keep working your rag round, and so that you don't, so that you're not almost putting it back onto the piece with your rag. Laurie, hello my lovely. Well, do you know what? This is an odd slot, isn't it? Because it's not my normal time. And it's an extra one, so no worries. So we've got this piece here left to do and that edge. We're doing well. And these glazes just go on so nicely. I've tinkered with the champagne, but this is the first time I've used it in such a kind of full-on manner. And I just, like Erin said, it looked beautiful and very classy, I think, over a white tone. Definitely. Would be nice. Okay. If Erin, I know you share, generally you come on and share. If there's any groups that you guys are in that I might not be aware of, please share the video around. The more shares the merrier. We want to spread the Paint Couture love as much as we can. I mean, of course I love everything Paint Couture, but I do particularly The glazes are fantastic, and the metallics are literally, there's nothing that I've used that even comes close to comparing to Paint Couture metallics. They are incredible. The sparkle and they kind of develop as they dry. They sparkle even more. So that's our front piece glazed. Now typically you would, I haven't done that little moulding, have I? Typically you would let a glaze dry overnight, but because I'm wiping back on the tops and we're just gonna, we're almost dry brushing, that's why I'm continuing on and just doing the metallics, because I'm not really going to affect what I've done. I might add the odd bit here and there, but I'm not going to be rubbing at it. I've just seen a comment squeeze through on Barbara. You've just joined in late. You love this blue. What's the name of it? Of course I don't mind. So we've got this main greeny blue turquoisey colour is the sea glass. Is that focusing on there? I can't tell. And then the blue that we've framed here, rounds here with, is Lake Norman blue. Okay. All the details are in the description as well. Oops, I'm just going to move those. Whoopsie. All the details have the description. There's also a link there to find, well actually there's two links. There's a link to find retailers in the US and Canada. There's also a link to find your retailers in the UK. So you've got all that information all in that post description, so you don't have to go look for it. Whew. It's not as warm as yesterday, but it's still pretty warm, guys. No worry. Is the rag you're wiping with wet or dry? I'm just using bog standard kitchen roll. You can use baby wipes. Again, that'll be, because I want to leave the shimmer across everything, I'm using something dry. If I was using a glaze that to really just sit back in all of these details, and I didn't want it to hugely affect the colour of the paint or leave much on, you know, the rest of my wide open spaces, I would probably use something a bit more damp, either a rag like that sprayed, or you can use baby wipes or cleaning wipes. You just don't want to be nothing too harsh, because then, you know, because you're adding on another damp coat with the glaze, you don't want to start kind of lifting your paint. It hasn't ever happened, but you don't want to get it too hard. Okie dokes, so let's get my little metallic mix. So this is approximately half and half Stardust and French Gold. When after I'd been live yesterday, there was a couple of suggestions of copper, and I did consider copper, and I mixed some copper with Stardust, which is beautiful. Slightly more coppery version of rose gold, if anyone's interested in looking at that. And then Michael of Paint Couture suggested mixing Stardust with, I think it was either pale gold or French gold, and I just blown away. So this is what we have. Like I said, it's a slightly more gold version of Stardust. So it's still got all the sparkles of Stardust, but it's a little bit more gold. Love it. Love, love, love. So I am using one of these nice flat blue ice brushes again. I used these on the raised details yesterday, and we're not going dry brush, but we almost are. So I'm not like really drying it off. I just don't want any drippings. Barbara, gorgeous. So I'm going to go over all my details and just highlight again. So you see why I might go back in with the copper, with the coral. And I've just got a little bit of fluff there. I'm just going on my edges. I don't want to hide all the red and gold that I've done. So, and this is the reason why I'm liking this nice flat brush, because I can, same as yesterday, I can use it in that kind of motion. Oh, it's so gorgeous. I can't even tell you. I've got a little bit of paper towel there. It is fabulous. So let's go across here. So I'm using a slightly lighter hand than yesterday so that it doesn't just cover up all my coral and my red from yesterday. But and as this dries, it will sparkle up even more. So it's rather gorgeous. And just because I'm loving it so much, I am going to add some bits through there. I can't help myself. Just some subtleties and kind of on those edges. I mean, you could do this and go really bonkers. You really could. I'm just sort of resisting the urge, but not really. Let me just see. Hello from California. Hi, Victoria. Thank you. The colours are great, aren't they? I'm blown away how nicely it's all pulled together. It's pretty close to my vision. I always like that. It's always a bonus when that happens, isn't it? So where I've gone a bit heavier on the coral and the red, I'm just going to tone it down ever so slightly with my gold mix. I can see where down through here, can you see down that far? Let me just move that down, you might not catch it on the camera. So down here, where we've got that champagne glaze sitting in there, it's already sitting in that crease nicely and just shimmering a little bit for me. So it's beautiful. I'm going to pop a little bit there. I'm going to come down here and add some down here as well. I did do a little bit of distressing. It was a dark wood stained piece, but when I distressed back, it kind of went through to a lighter wood, which wasn't as pretty. So I'm just going to gold it up everywhere instead. Quite frankly, why not? Let's have a little look. I'm going to pop some along these edges. I do love gold and turquoise. And I do quite a lot in gold and turquoise. A lot of Gracie's bedroom has gold and turquoise and pink and turquoise and gold is her bedroom colours. I'm not going to glaze this one simply because I only finished it just before I came on live, so I want that to dry for a little bit longer. What I am going to do, some more here. The gold is the perfect addition. Have I done down here yet? No. Let's see. And you know, I'm not being particularly precious about whether I stay. It's not like colouring in the lines, this one, at all. I'm going to pop another bit over here because my glaze has started to dry up on this one, so I can see a bit easier where my highlights can be and where I can add a little bit more with just my metallic gold mix. I'm going to go down here on this edge as well. You need to, let's just tilt you a little bit over there. Adding some on those edges. And through that little bit of red down there. Let's have a little look. I'm just going to stand back and have a little, oh yes. Okay, I am going to get my coral out and go back in with a touch of coral here and there because I don't want my coral to be lost, and it's such a punchy colour. This is probably the most incredible coral straight out of a pot that I've ever used. I think I said the same yesterday. Sorry, that one, my Instagram camera's a little wobbly because the floor in my workshop is not entirely flat. So when I walk about it wobbles, I'm afraid. Just where I used this one earlier, I have a brush ready. So let's get my cloth. Again, we're just, I mean, very, very tiny amounts of paint. That's all you need to add. That is it. I'm just going to pop you Facebook chaps back up again. So what's everybody doing? I think I asked that, didn't I? What are you prepping for going away and holidays and things? Oh yeah, love that. Just adding the coral, perhaps in different places to where I'd added and thought about it yesterday. Now I've got the gold on, and that's again why I love these kind of a bit more rustic and rough finishes, because you can really keep layering. And if you feel like, oh that's not quite, I've probably gone a bit too far, you can go back in and just add more. Or if you really weren't happy with this section, you could paint this sea glass again and paint it all over again. That's the beauty. So I am just, it is subtle, I'm just, taking some from one side. I'm just going here on these sides. So it's kind of, the coral's gone this way, and just adding it in different areas. So I'm not going back over the gold, I'm not just painting over the gold bit that I've just added. I'm just adding touches back in. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Okay. So I think that's probably it for the front. We'll do some glaze on the top. I think this is probably going to be a bit shorter than yesterday's. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we've done about 25 minutes. So we'll glaze the top. We might as well do that together. I'm just going to pop a little bit of gold over this knob over here. So I managed to pick these, have these fab knobs that I got off another project, an old pine chest of drawers, and they have, I just think they suit, they have these little kind of carvings in, so I added them because the knobs have got lost on this piece somewhere in its lifetime. Okay, so let's just get some glaze on the top as well. I'm going to put my lid on my coral before I kick that over. That would not make me happy just before going away. I have to say, I can't wait to have my first drink at my bar. That'll be fab. I'm keeping it simple on the top, and it's just sea glass with the champagne over, champagne glaze. I think we've got plenty going on the front, not to need this on the top as well, not to need all of the colours. I think that could change down the line. I may change my mind. No comments I'm missing. I think we've caught everything. Okey-dokes. Right, you down there. Let's get a fresh bit of rag. Oh, that's 2 pieces. We don't need 2. It just shimmers. It's gorgeous. I don't know if you can see, it's got quite a pearly sort of colour in the pot. Can you see that? I don't want to tip it up anymore because it'll go everywhere. Teresa, it's looking good, isn't it? I'm really, really loving this. When we first put this out on the new patio area, like all Gracie wanted to do was just stand behind it and be bartender. So I think she's just gonna love this when this goes out. I've been using the glaze on handles as well. So I love using the original, you know, if I've got a vintage piece, I love keeping the vintage handles, the original handles. But quite often they're sort of far tarnished, or they're not always made of the same metal or a nice brass or something. So I give them a good clean, and I usually spray them because I'm going to say lazy. I'm impatient is the word. I'm very impatient, so I spray them because they're done quicker. But then I use the glaze to pop the details. I've been using black chiffon glaze to pop details on handles, and it looks amazing. Really, really cool. And if anyone's not seen, Cece has used the glazes to, metallics and glazes I think she's used, with a wood graining tool, and that looks really cool as well. So there's so many ways that you can use these glazes. See me over there now. Sorry, Instagram, you've lost me, haven't you? I'm over here. You have to have about 5 eyes to do these dual lives, I tell you. I need a better setup, but at the moment this is the best I can do. So. So you see, I'm not, you know, I'm not rubbing really hard. I'm just rubbing, obviously, to remove as much as I can, but still leave me with that shimmer. And remove some product and then go back in with a cleaner part of my rag. Okay. And let's just go and do. Let's go and do this end. We're over here now. There we go. And then we're done. Like I said, I'm not going to do that final panel down there, simply because I was only just finishing it up before coming live with you. And I do like to give my paint a bit more of a chance to dry before adding glaze over the top. I think the general rule of thumb would probably be let your paint dry overnight before adding a glaze. And like I said before, that's really down to because you're going to be, you know, wiping it back. You want that paint good and stuck. Hey Joan, how are you? It's turning out cool, isn't it? It's gonna be the place to hang out at Gracie's house. If you've got sensitive skin, or you just don't like getting mucky, gloves is probably a recommendation for this wiping back, because I mean I've got gold fingers, very shiny hands. It can get mucky. Hi Wendy, I didn't see you pop on. How are you? It's cute, isn't it? And what's more, it's a project actually for me and my house. That's so exciting. There we go. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. Oops, that one's not my own. I really appreciate, as always, I always say this, but I really do, you know, I know it's time taken out of your days to come and join me and watch me painting. So I'm always appreciative that you do take the time. Wendy, good. Been out, in and out this morning. I know, I love that it's for me. So we're going to do a final little recap. Thank you for joining me on my part 2 today, this week. So we had the original, where we started, the base coat of sea glass. We did some framing out in the Lake Norman blue, which is, oh, I love that blue, it's beautiful. We added some sort of dry brushing details over all of those mouldings in Russian red and Caribbean coral to give it a really good pop against the blue and the turquoisey tone. Then I've added the champagne glaze, which I haven't put the lid back on. So let's do that now. So champagne glaze, just bear in mind that's it's not there's a champagne in the metallic range as well. This is the glaze. And then I mixed up approximately a 50-50 mix of Stardust and French gold. Yummy. For a real super sparkly gold tone that we've added over. And then we did a little bit of tinkering and added a bit more gold back in, where I'd covered some up a little bit more. And then we've glazed the top as well. But the champagne has given it that real, it's going to glow. When it sits out on my terrace, on my patio, it's going to glow and shimmer in the sun and look absolutely amazing. So you're not going to have me for 3 weeks now. I'm back, I can't remember the date. I get back on the 13th of August. So whatever the Thursday is after that, that's my first date back. And I can't remember. 13th is the Friday. I'm not even going to try. I'm on the Thursday after the 13th. Thanks for watching, and have a great half term, a great summer holidays. And I'll catch you again in 3 weeks, guys. Thank you. Bye.